Welcome to I Was There, where we have conversations with eyewitnesses to history. I'm your host, Jeff Trujillo, and I'm flying solo today, but boy, do we have a treat in store for you all. Today's guest has had an incredible career that spans from modeling to being an original Playboy bunny to acting and working with two of our greatest directors of all time. But she's best known for being Janet Leigh's body double in one of the most iconic and terrifying scenes in film history. And today she's generous enough to, as we say, pull back the curtain and share her story with us. And so, Marli Renfro, I want to thank you for joining us today. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Well, it's a huge honor for me. Not only did you witness history, you are part of one of the most historic moments in film history.
I know.
Yeah.
It puts a smile on my face, you know, just a smile inside of me to have done that.
I bet. And you did that scene several decades ago, but you're still today getting all kinds of acknowledgement from all over the world. I mean, you have fans, you do conventions, you do signings.
Yes.
And what a thrill to be able to know that you're part of that.
And it all came, the notoriety came when my book came out, my biography came out, which was in 2010.
It kind of revived everything.
Oh my goodness, yes, because before that, some people thought I was dead.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Well, you're not.
No, I know it.
Well, maybe they thought that because of that terrifying scene that you did that
no,
day.
A lady who posed for Saul Bass. Saul Bass did the storyboard for the shower scene, and so she posed for him. She had a bathing suit on and stuff, but it came to be known that she was the body double in the movie.
Oh.
And there was a handyman at her apartment, and I don't know, a crazy guy or whatever, but anyway, he murdered her.
Oh, no.
And so everybody thought it was me who was murdered.
Oh, wow.
So, in fact, back in 2001, my husband and I were on vacation. We were up in Big Bear. They had I've Got a Secret on. So we watched it, and it was cute. And they came on and said, if you have a secret, call this number. Anyway, I wrote it down and called. And I said, I'm not famous, but I did something famous. I was Janet Leigh's acting double in the shower scene of Psycho.
Wow.
I got a call back, within just a few minutes. Oh, and I had mentioned to them that I was on the cover of Playboy, September 60 issue. And they said, bring it down and we'll put it on the coffee table in front of us. I said, okay. So we did. We're sitting there, and somebody says, we got to call Playboy to get permission to have it there. So she takes it, and she comes back shaking her head. And she said, well, I asked. And the guy said, no, you don't have permission. Besides, she's dead.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and that's what we said. What? I'm not.
Wow.
Yeah.
But then they had to do some research, I would imagine, to find out that...
Well, that was in '01, and then I think '09, I was on eBay. I was buying up my magazines on eBay. One seller, I had bought several from her. So this time when I won it, I said... that's me on the cover. And she says, I thought so. So she says, the one that you just lost, buyer, mentioned to me that he wanted to do an article on you.
Oh.
So I went back to see which one I lost and just got the identification of the buyer. And I said, hi, this is Marli Renfro, and I understand you want to write an article about me. Well, it turns out it was Robert Graysmith.
Oh.
He wrote the Zodiac series.
Yes.
And he wanted to do my biography of which he did. It came out in 2010.
Put you back on the map.
Yeah, really, it did.
Well, that's amazing. That's amazing. Well, Marli, you did Psycho, but you had quite the journey to get to that point. And so maybe let's go back and talk a little bit about how you got there. You had told me that you started as a swimsuit model back a few years before then.
Yes.
How old were you when you started doing that, and how did that lead to the eventual?
17. I graduated from high school when I was 17.
17.
So
okay.
I did a lot of local commercials. I did land commercials. I went horseback riding and stuff like that. And then Harry Owens, he had a Hawaiian show on television. He had Hilo Hattie.
Oh, yes.
Was on. I modeled, some of their clothing that they were selling. And so I was paid in muumuus. I got, I don't know, about 3 muumuus, something like that.
Great.
So I gave them to my mom, and she had them for decades.
I bet.
She just loved them. And real good quality,
Sure.
fabric. So anyway, mostly I did local commercials. I did a couple of Ford commercials at NBC, and that was that. When I was doing bathing suit competitions, now I'm backtracking now.
That's okay.
Back to 55. Last one I did was at Venice, California, Muscle Beach. And but while there, I was talking to a man. He was called NTG, Niles T. Garland. Well, here I am, 17, and he looked really old. I don't think he was probably in his 50s, which is a youngster now. Anyway, he said they're looking for some models out at the El Mirador Hotel in Palm Springs. Bathing suit around the pool, sundresses, walking on the grounds and stuff for promotional postcards and stuff like that. So another girl and me were hired for it. And we were there a couple days, I remember that. But my given name is Marlys, Marlys. And she said, "That's too old of a name for you." She says, "Why don't we shorten it? Let's make it Marli. Put the S off." And she says, "Oh, okay." And then, instead of a Y, let's do I. So that's how I got Marli, was there.
That's your Hollywood name then.
Yeah. My professional name.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So Niles contacted me later and said they're looking for chorus dancers for Vegas, and really not very much dancing experience. So I tried out for that, and I got that.
Wow.
So went up there in May of 56, so I had just turned 18.
Okay.
So it was at the El Rancho. And we had beautiful costumes. This is in 56,
Sure.
just frills and full skirts. And we just did little things behind the main dancer. Now, she twirled and kicked and all this, just went, and we're behind, with our hands going back and forth and just walking here and walking there, just giving her a backdrop.
Right.
So,
well, now tell me a little bit about what those shows, what were Vegas shows like back then? I mean, was it a dinner show? Was it, what time was the show? My parents used to go to Vegas back in the early 60s, and they would tell me that sometimes the shows started midnight, 2 a.m. I mean, they would be really late shows, and they'd have dinner, and it was a whole experience. What were those shows like?
You had dinner shows. Those were early, at 6, say.
Okay.
And then, I don't know, 9 or 10. We used to do 2.
Okay.
And then later on when I was there, they wound up doing 3 on Friday and Saturday. It was a late show. on that. But basically, we did too.
And I would imagine people got, as opposed to today, people then got dressed up to go to the shows.
Gloves, furs, hats, cocktail dresses. Men wore suits. It was, you dressed. And it's really something. I have a history with the El Rancho. A few years ago, I bought a book, Las Vegas Then and Now, something like that. And in there it says that the El Rancho was the very first resort on the Strip.
Yeah.
It opened April 3rd, 1941. That was my third birthday.
Oh my gosh.
It opened on my birthday, and here I go there to work there too.
It was meant to be.
Yes, there's a lot of little connections in my life, connection with people, events, really.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so for you as an 18-year-old, I mean, in that environment, that must have been culture shock to you. What was that like? I mean, that must have been amazing.
Not at all.
No.
No.
You felt totally on stage and ready to go.
I did fine.
Well, I bet you did. What was that like?
I don't know. I basically take things as they come, person, you know. So I don't think it was really any big deal. I was definitely nervous the first night or two, something like that. But
was it fun?
Oh, a delight. And it was a little town.
Yeah,
there were only like 5 or 6 hotels on the Strip.
Oh, wow.
Really, everybody knew everybody. And our little group, there were 6 of us, and of course Renee, and we would get asked by a lot of the other hotels to go, we would go see their shows.
Oh.
And it would dress up their, thing too, just having us there.
How fun was that?
But Sinatra and his whole,
Sure, the Rat Pack and all those guys. Yeah.
Milton. I worked with Milton Berle. He was there quite a few times. He was there at our rehearsals and overseeing them.
Who was your favorite that you worked with during that time?
Shirley Bassey. Shirley Bassey. It was the first place that she worked in the United States.
Wow.
Was at the El Rancho. She was 18. I was 18.
Wow.
I know, we just hit it off.
How fun.
It was.
Boy, what a voice she had.
And her dress. I mean, this is, the mid-50s, her dress was like silver foil sprayed on.
Wow.
And her hair was just wild, and she was so different.
Yeah.
Different. Nobody, conservative America, and here she is.
She ended up singing the James Bond theme, right?
I know. Yeah, she did. Oh, yeah, she did really well for herself.
Wow.
Yeah, but we had fun together.
How fun was that? So then, how did you get from there to what was the next stage and leading up to the film that you?
I was there. I got there in May of '56, and fall of '57, I quit, and I moved to New York.
Oh.
I had met one person there, a lady. I don't know how I got in touch with her. I think she was a friend of a friend. She was a secretary for a record producer or something like that. Anyway, went to New York. I checked in at the Barbizon Hotel for Women, and I stayed there about 2 or 3 weeks.
So this was an all-women's hotel?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
And so then I got an apartment with 2 other ladies. I can't remember. I think it was just 1 bedroom. I think I slept on the couch. But my first job there was I was a receptionist at Fiat Motors, their main office for the United States, Fiat. So I was a receptionist, and I worked there, I guess, about 3 weeks, and I went to an audition at the Latin Quarter, and I got hired there, so I quit, obviously, Fiat. And there you had to dance. I tell you, and I learned, I really did, and the numbers were long. 5, 10, 15 minutes. I don't know if you're familiar with the Latin Quarter. Barbara Walters' father owned the Latin Quarter.
Oh, okay.
Big horseshoe stage.
Okay. And so this was a big nightclub in New York City.
Oh,
then.
huge.
Yeah.
You had big acts there, and you'd have 5, 6, 7 going on each night.
Wow.
And dancers, there were what they called ponies, littler ones, and middle ones, and then your showgirls.
Ah. So the ponies were the shorter girls.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh. And where were you in that tier?
I was in the middle.
Okay.
I was 5'4".
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, we danced, I tell you. Can we wore velvet. Layers of velvet. You're just on your left foot and kicking with your right the whole time. And with that heavy dress, you are drenched.
Oh, I
when
bet.
you are, you get off stage. Anyway, one of the numbers that was like a kismet. So I had a couple that would sing, and we'd dance, and we'd have, the veils and all of that. Well, he'd say to her, take my hand, that. So she didn't show up one night.
Uh-oh.
So who did they pick to take her place?
You got the lead.
I did. And you do not want to hear me sing. And I just always, when I would be at home watching television, and I'd see the musicals and people singing to each other, and I'd think, how can they not laugh? Somebody's singing to you, pouring their hearts out, and here they're so serious about listening to it. I just could not understand how. I just thought the actors had to be whatever.
Yeah.
Well, they picked me. So I had to wear her outfit. But he sang to me. I didn't have to sing. He did the whole thing.
Wow.
My chin was going up like this. I wanted to giggle so bad.
But you made it through.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And then another time, a showgirl didn't show up. So I had to be a showgirl. And they had a stairway on either side, a curved stairway coming down, down to the stage. And so they would start up there with big hat,
I was going to say, you have the big headdresses, kind of like Lucille Ball in that famous scene where she comes down the stairs and whatnot, right? Mm-hmm. How did you said you didn't dance when you were in Vegas, but you...
Oh, I did, a little bit.
I was going to say, how'd you learn? Because you said when you got to New York, you had to dance. I mean, did the other girls teach you, or how did you...
Well, and I learned. I'm a quick learner.
Okay.
All right, and I did ballroom. I could do any dance on the ballroom, so...
Yeah, just picked it up, huh?
I did.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. And then, so from New York, how do you get back to Hollywood? How does that happen?
Don Arden came into the Latin Quarter with his own dancers.
Oh.
So we all let go.
Ah.
So I got a job at the Americana down in Miami Beach.
Oh, okay.
So I went down there and spring of '58. I was in New York the winter, actually, from fall of '57 to spring of '58. I experienced winter, and it was I loved it. You being, California.
Yeah.
So I was, people are,
Yeah.
Anyway, so.
Oh, and we're hearing some breathing
Yes.
because we're being joined by a special guest today.
Yes,
This is
that's
Lily,
Lily.
right? Hi, Lily. This is your dog.
Yes.
Oh,
So,
good girl.
when I caught my I went fishing, deep sea fishing, and I caught a sailfish.
Oh,
And I had it mounted, and I had it sent to my dad for Father's Day.
wow.
Yes.
He must have loved that.
Oh, he did. Really. So then I came back to New Year's, basically, of '58, and that's when, '59, January '59, I get some professional photographs taken. I started modeling then.
In Southern California. Okay.
And at that time, just about everybody was getting $10 an hour.
Uh-huh.
And I worked, I don't know, a couple of weeks, and a couple of photographers said, you got to start charging $25.
Oh,
So
well,
I did.
yeah, well, you showed me some of the photos that from when you were modeling, but I mean, you were just beautiful. I mean, beautiful young girl, and you're still beautiful, but you must have been really, if they wanted to pay you at that level, you must have been at the top of the heap as far as the models.
I considered
went
my
there.
body as a work of art, to tell you the truth. I have really had a beautiful body.
Yeah.
Just well proportioned. A couple that I knew were nudists.
Okay.
And I wanted to go someplace where I could bathe, without clothes. That way I wouldn't have to wear makeup, on my body. So they said, well, we're nudists. Why don't you come out with us? So I did, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a family, a grouping, and I played volleyball.
Was this at a resort or?
Oh, yes, we were what you call a traveling club. There were quite a few in
Okay.
Southern California, and we would, go to the different ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, San Bernardino, El Cajon. So I was perfectly comfortable being without clothes. I mean, really. No hanky-panky. Well, they just, they get whatever lopped off and you try anything,
Yeah.
But
No, everybody behaved themselves, is
yes.
what you said.
So I'm working with Mario Caselli, photographer.
Okay.
And he was a famous photographer.
Yeah.
If there was a photograph on the cover of TV Guide, he did it.
Ah.
Whatever it was. If it was a photograph,
Yeah.
Mario did it. He was really multi-talented. But one time he said that they're looking for somebody, a model or something, out at Universal. And he says, that's all I know. So he gave me the phone number. So I called, and I got an appointment with the man who I went to see. And then he took me to Hitchcock.
Oh, straight to the top.
Right there.
Wow.
Right there. And then I had to strip down to my underwear,
Okay.
underpants, and then got dressed again, went over to Janet Leigh's, wherever she was, and had to strip down so our bodies could compare.
So did you know this film was happening? Did you know?
I knew nothing.
So
Nothing.
had no idea what the job was going to be.
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
Wow.
I don't even know if I knew the name of. I don't remember. If I knew the name of it.
Wow.
But I know that Hitchcock, spoke to everyone on set that this is all business-like, no sniggering, nothing, could keep it professional.
So they hired you on the spot then?
Yeah,
Wow. And did you? How soon till you started working?
next week.
Next week. Wow. And so like you said, they brought you out onto the set. What was the set like?
Well, wait a minute.
Okay.
When I was there for the interview, the first interview, they took me to the sound stage where they had the set of the shower scene. And also there were sets of the motel. I don't know if you're familiar with
the sound
stages are cavernous. Interior of the mansion, there, quite a bit. Little. I mean, the shower scene just little. That's it, the tub and the walls and stuff, movable, all of that.
Just a tiny portion of the sound stage. Yeah.
So I report next week, and after makeup, the makeup man walks me down, and we approach the door to the sound stage. Big red light flashing, and no admittance, closed set. I thought, wow. So we opened the door, and off to the right are a set of bleachers.
Bleachers. Wow.
Mainly newsmen. But there were some actors. I just remember one, Brian Keith. I don't know if there were any female up
Uncle
there.
Bill.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, they're expecting a stripper. What are they going to do? So I thought, well, just, I had a light seersucker robe on. I had a gray wig, all curly, like Janet wore.
You were hired for how long?
I was hired for a couple of days, $500 for a couple of days, and I worked 9. I worked late December of '59, and then January of '60.
And the 9 days was because it took so long to shoot?
You're asking the wrong person. I don't know. I really think that because I was so comfortable and natural, and whatever he wanted to do, I was in sports, so I could handle, maneuver, plus a dancer, maneuver and stuff like that. So I think really that's why that instead of just somebody that
right
type thing.
Yeah, you were more natural with it.
I was.
Yeah.
One time I'm sitting down in the tub on my knees. Obviously, it's just before I reach out to grab the shower curtain. So he has me there, and camera is there. And this is toward the end, He takes a tape measure and attaches it to the camera lens and brings it over to my left nipple.
Oh.
And I had the hardest time not to smile. Like, you little... Because I have taken photography. I know how to... This is the only time he did that. It's just... He did it for himself. He did. But I didn't want to ruin it for him. So I just...
But you said that the set was professional. You said I think
completely.
You had mentioned that. Yeah. So how was working with? I mean, Alfred Hitchcock is considered one of the greatest directors of all time.
Yes.
What was working with him like? I mean, was it?
He knew exactly what he wanted me to do. Exactly.
Wow.
What he wanted my purpose. I don't know. But whatever he told me to do, I did.
And they had to reset the camera, obviously, all over the set, between takes.
52 times.
52 times. Wow.
The real, mostly it was just all slow motion and stuff. There were some hairy parts, really, when I was working with Mother.
Tony Perkins.
He had his... double was a female.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, she was
Okay.
tall, slender, the same build and everything. So
So was she the one? Were you working with her, or were you working with Anthony Perkins?
both.
Oh, both. They would switch out
Yeah.
depending on the.
When during the stabbing, that was with Mother,
Okay.
and she was Mother
Oh, she was Mother. Gotcha.
during that.
Uh-huh.
It was tense there because the shower is, coming down and of course it's hitting, her face and all of that.
Yeah.
And she's coming at me with the knife. Never got really close. But I'm going this and doing this, and and everything.
How did he tell you how to act? I mean, you just terrified, just act scared, act how did you know what?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Whatever he told me to do, I did.
Gotcha.
I know that.
And so he must have had it all scripted out exactly the way it was
Between
going to
every
be.
scene, he had a tent off from the shower scene, black like a hunter's tent, black canvas, goes up 4 feet and then angles to the top,
Okay.
And inside he had one long table and a chair, and that was it.
Oh.
That
Wow.
was he would go there
Yeah,
a lot of times between takes.
probably to see what the next
Yeah,
shot or setup was
the
going to be.
storyboard works
Yeah,
off the
sure.
storyboard.
Sure, sure. Did you have any idea what an iconic scene you were working on at the
No.
time?
I just knew anything with Hitchcock, but no, I hadn't the slightest idea. And Vera Miles and, I can't think of his name, Janet's boyfriend.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah,
his
and
name.
then the detective, I can't think of his name.
Yeah.
They came on the set quite a few times, and it was nice. Just talk and, and Vera confided, she says, I'm wearing a wig just like you are. She just got through doing a movie like Vampire Women of the Amazon or something like that, and had to shave their heads.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she says, I love this. Oh, just wearing a wig for a short while and taking it off.
How fun. So it was Martin Balsam was the detective.
Thanks, Marty Balsam. Right.
Yes.
Yes. Well, so nice. He and Vera were especially nice.
Yeah.
Janet, she came on. She was there 1 or 2 days where she did her bit for the shower scene.
Okay.
Just cold to me. And I thought, no, rude.
Yeah. Yeah, right? No,
Really.
no reason for that.
Yeah. So, whatever. But anyway, I did that.
So you really enjoyed your Hitchcock experience then?
Oh, thoroughly.
Yeah.
Thoroughly.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. And then when Tony was there, between takes, we'd play word games like Ghost and stuff. I can't remember all of them, but yeah, and he a nice young man. Really nice young man.
And so then after you did your 9 days, and then how long was it until the movie came out, until you got to see what you had created?
It came out in the summer of '60, so it didn't take him long, really.
And then how did you see that scene? How's the first time that you saw that?
Well,
How did that
I
happen?
saw other parts of the movie, being that they had, the interiors or exteriors. I just saw a lot of it being done. Then a few weeks after I did Psycho, Playboy flew me to Chicago to shoot the cover of the September '60 issue. And then also I did 2 full pages of the July issue.
Now, was that because you had been in Psycho?
No.
Or that was just on your own?
Yeah.
From your agent? Or?
No, I didn't have an agent. I did it all myself.
Oh, okay.
I did.
How did that come about? You just applied, or how?
Where?
How do you, for Playboy? How
They
does that happen?
contacted me.
They contact just out of the blue.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like all the other models and stuff are getting $10 an hour, and I'm 25.
That's right. At the top of the heap.
So go to Chicago, and I'm there, I don't know, 2-3 days, something like that. The photographer, Don Bronstein or something like that is his name. Anyway, he took me out to a skeet range. I mean, that was weird. So at the exit interview with Playboy, I find out that they're doing the finishing touches on the very first Playboy Club. And of course, it's in Chicago. And so I asked Hef, I said, if I go home and pack and come back, can I have a job there? He said, sure.
Wow.
So I did. Went home, packed, came back, had a job, but my first job was on salary. I worked the front door, greeting members and getting their key and putting it up on the board. And then I find out the waitresses are really pulling in the bucks. So I asked one of the managers, can I have a job as a waitress? Sure. Do you have any experience? I said, no, you need experience. So I quit. And I got a job as a waitress at a jazz club, the Cloisters.
Okay.
And I think Buddy Rich was playing there. Anyway.
Oh, Buddy Rich, the drummer.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I worked there a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, something. So I quit. Went back to Playboy and said, I have experience.
And you got rehired.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I worked the noon crowd and down at the bar. You walk in and you're at a mezzanine, and you go downstairs, and that's a bar where it has a bar and then some booze. Or you have the mezzanine, you go off to the right and you go up some stairs and you have like living room and just a party atmosphere bar and stuff like that up there. But anyway, I worked the bar down the lunch hour.
Okay.
And at that time, now this is 1960, you go to any bar and a mixed drink was 35 cents.
Wow. Wow.
There, they charge $1.50.
Oh.
And no complaints.
Now, you had to, not anybody could go there, right? Didn't you have to have a key or something?
We had to
How
be a
was that?
member.
You had to be a member. Mm-hmm. So you had to buy into this membership.
Yes.
Gotcha. And then, I mean, that was one of the first luxury gentlemen's clubs in the country,
goodness,
right?
yeah.
And
well,
so,
same with the magazine. The
True.
magazine,
That's true.
was
and you've
class.
You've glossed over a bunch of that. You said you met Hef. You were actually shot on the cover of the magazine. You were in the magazine. I mean, that must have been an incredible experience. What was that like? The entire thing, what was that like? 1960 was a big year for you. I mean, you went from being a showgirl to Psycho to working with Playboy. What was that like?
It just was. I mean, really. I don't put anybody on a pedestal.
Uh-huh.
I will admire them for their talent or their,
Sure.
intellect or whatever, but I don't put anybody on a pedestal. So, Playboy came out in the summer of '60 while I'm there, and I had a roommate, Lene Allstad. She was a playmate. She said, "Oh, they have a Psycho. We got to go see it."
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, how boring. I've seen a lot of it. I know what it's all about. Really, I mean, this is really what was going through my mind. I really had no desire to see it because I knew what it was all about. We went. Scared me half to death.
You and the rest of the country.
Woo! Really. I mean, even now, I've seen it 30, 40 times.
Sure.
For different reasons, I've gone back to watch it. It is a masterpiece.
It really is.
Oh, it is.
Can you believe that's you? I mean, it's just, that must be really surreal to see yourself up on a big screen in that iconic scene, just knowing what an impact that's made on generations of film goers.
Yeah. One reason, I watch it so many times too, how far down the camera went on Janet, because she had on a full bathing suit. Full beast tan bathing suit.
Yeah, I don't think it goes below her her armpits, right? I mean, it's kind of
definitely above that.
Her collarbones,
just a little bit below her collarbone.
Yeah,
that's it. That's why I've watched it so many times.
Yeah, I've read that they use chocolate syrup for the blood and whatnot.
Did Hershey's.
Did you have that on you?
Had one guy had a can. Where a couple of guys had Hershey's syrup and the water. They're shooting at my knees and down, and I'm, moving and doing this and water, and they're dribbling and stuff.
And then you're the one that tears down the curtain.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're sitting in the theater and you see yourself. What did you say?
Nothing. It went by so fast.
Yeah.
It went by so fast.
Wow.
But since then, I really have torn it apart.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, how amazing. Well, now, going back to the Playboy Club, what was the atmosphere there? I would imagine since people are members, they got to dress up and it's kind of
that
fancy.
Time. It's 1960. Women wear cocktail dresses, gloves, white gloves during the day, a lot of times at night, or leather gloves, hats, furs, heels.
Yeah. Did you enjoy that entire experience?
Thoroughly.
Yeah.
Thoroughly. I had a lot of outfits.
And you must have had, I mean, if you were working there and your magazine came out, you must have got a lot of notoriety from that, I would think.
No.
No?
I pointed out. Let's see. It came out in September, and that's when I left.
Oh, okay. At that point, were you considered a playmate then, or what? No? How did they do publicity for something like that? Did they...
For what?
For like you being in the magazine, did they publicize that in any way? Like, did they take you on a tour? Did you do signings or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
No. No. They do now. They have little conventions or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't know if at that time if they did that kind of thing.
No.
Okay. When you met Hugh Hefner, what was he like?
My friend in Miami Beach. I was talking to him, and this is when I get, at the time, when I get the job of going to Chicago to shoot, And he says, well, you just stay away from Hefner. He's not for you. You know me.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, I'm Puritan.
Yeah.
In a lot of things, But he said, he's not for you. So I just kept it business. Like, and another thing, they were used to paying their models $10 an hour. So at the closing interview, I hadn't been paid yet or anything. And they said, well, how much do we owe you? And I said, well, I get $25 an hour or $150 a day. Jaw dropped.
Well,
there was silence.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I charged.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it was matter of fact.
Sure. Well, good for you for sticking up for yourself.
Yeah, well, it wasn't. It was just, they asked a question,
Yeah.
and I answered it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good for you, and good for your friend for giving you that advice too.
Yeah.
That was nice that he looked out.
Yeah,
for you like
and
that.
he had a Mercedes, and there was a Mercedes that I wanted so bad. It was a 1956 convertible with separate fenders with a running board, and leather interior, and but it was it cost nothing. I mean, really, very little, but I couldn't afford it.
Yeah, well, at the time, compared to now, it probably was little, but at the time, it was probably a lot.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So anyway, with him, I just made sure, a lot of times I just kept it on Mercedes.
Oh,
Conversation. That was it. So he didn't really have anything to do with me.
yeah. Well, it sounds like, I mean, you were a young girl and pretty adventurous. I mean, you traveled the country. You went to New York, Chicago, Miami, Los Angeles. You must have had a lot of confidence and
I never considered it.
huh.
You know, I just, I guess, yes, I guess it is confident.
But you also had a pretty good sense about things, it sounds like, and knew how to deal with Hef and how to deal with in these different situations.
Well, yeah, but I'm a very naive person, too.
Well, you've learned a lot along the way, I'm sure.
I have, but
Yeah.
I'm still naive.
Well, now jumping forward, working with your next great director, how did that come about? You ended up working with Francis Ford Coppola,
Yes.
right? How did that come about?
You know, I don't remember.
Oh, you don't?
I
Okay.
really don't. It may have been through a photographer,
Okay.
because he was a student at UCLA Film School.
Mm-hmm.
I had taken documentary filmmaking at UCLA.
Okay.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly, really liked that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I noticed, and I remember so sharp in my mind, thinking, he reminds me so much of Hitchcock. The way he handles me, directs me, I thought, this young man is going places.
Wow. And that was also around that time, 1960?
60. It could have been fall of 60 or spring of 61. I don't remember.
Wow. So at the beginning of his career. Then.
Oh, he was still a student.
Just a
He
student.
was at UCLA. He was a student.
But you
It
could
was
see
his
that
very first film.
wow. But you could see greatness in him.
Yes,
even
I
at that
could.
point. Wow.
He reminded me of Hitchcock.
His meticulous approach, huh?
I don't remember what it was, but
Yeah.
it's like Hitchcock knew exactly,
Mm-hmm.
and the same with Coppola. He knew exactly what he wanted.
Wow.
It's just, and it was easy. My goodness, you know, and whatever, and you just go along and do, you know.
Well,
And these were called risque movies. They
okay.
were girly movies.
Uh-huh.
At that time, you could show them on television now, but
Yeah.
then no, they
Oh,
were
okay.
girly movies.
And so the movie that came out that you worked with Coppola on, what's the name of that film?
Tonight for sure.
Tonight for Sure. Okay.
Yes.
Wow. And that's
Tonight. Okay, there's two separate movies together, and I'm the one that holds them together. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I did a girly movie in Searchlight, Nevada. And there were, I don't know, about 6, 7 girls there. The premise is this cowboy is riding his horse along out in the desert, and the horse shies away from a snake or something. He falls off, hits his head. But sometime after that, every once in a while, he'll get a crick in his neck, and he bends his head over, and then next time he looks, the girl in front of him doesn't have a top on.
Okay. Well, must have been a popular movie.
I don't know. Oh, wait. So that's that. And so that was filmed in Searchlight. And we filmed a lot in the casino there, too. So I was a blackjack dealer, so I had a blouse on, then no blouse.
Oh, how fun.
Yes. So then later, working with Coppola, this is like a voyeur, an older man, and he just he follows me around, walking and looking at me through binoculars and all of this stuff. I think that's about all I'm in it. But I tied the two together.
So you brought those two movies together.
Yeah.
And that's the film. Huh, interesting. So interesting. Well, talk about being a witness to history and being part of history. You've done both. And your popularity, like you said, your book came out and it kind of rejuvenated all the interest in your part in Psycho.
Yes.
And today, you're still participating by doing conventions
I know.
and
I love
signings.
it.
And, yeah.
I love it. Conventions are so much fun. I mean,
bet.
I'm not a huge draw, but people, they see me and they just come up and they got the biggest smile on their faces. And they can't wait to tell me how long it took them to finally take a shower.
I bet.
Or some of them, or not lock their doors. Some still lock their shower door or
Yeah.
bathroom door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that scene made quite the impact.
Yeah.
And still does. And so you travel the country, you go to conventions. You were saying you just went to one in Chicago not too long ago, right?
Yes, I'm going to one in Palm Springs,
Uh-huh.
May 4th,
Okay.
and then San Antonio, May 25th and 26th, something like that.
Wow. What kind of things do you do at the conventions?
I have a table,
Uh-huh.
actually a booth. I design and individually paint shower curtains. Each one is an individual work of art.
Yeah.
So I sell my shower curtains.
Okay.
And in the shower curtain, I have a knife that's autographed. Also, I have my a biography written by Robert Graysmith.
Uh-huh.
My Playboy cover magazine. I sell those. They really get. I have a few others that I take where I'm on the cover. They don't do as well, but everybody knows the Playboy.
Well, you were saying your cover is kind of an iconic cover as
It
well,
is,
right?
yeah. It's one of their most famous covers.
Can you describe it just for the audience
It's a
members?
jigsaw puzzle, and it's in orange colors. It's a beautiful, well done. They when they got the estimate from the die maker, because they had to, he had to make the die for the money. Mm-hmm. It was they didn't want to do it. So they had their art director pencil in or pen in, making the jigsaw.
All the jigsaw pieces.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's a back shot. I'm sitting on a stool. It's a back shot.
Yeah. Yeah, you showed it to me before we started. It is a beautiful cover. I mean, it really is. It's very tastefully done, and very iconic. And so and so you were saying your grandson accompanies you sometimes, and you get fans that come out and talk to you and share their
Yes.
And you said you have a big following in Germany.
Oh yes, I get fan mail, and from all over the United States, but. Yes, I've had more from Germany than any other place, but I've had from quite a few from Norway and Sweden.
Okay.
And Great Britain, Spain, Hong Kong.
All over the world.
Yeah, Australia. Anyway, and then of course the United States, Canada.
Yeah, sure. And you get fan mail every week, you were saying?
Yes.
Wow.
I know. I enjoy it. And they all write. Sometimes you can just tell it's a form letter, so whatever.
Yeah.
I still read it.
So that 9 days of work really lasted a lifetime, didn't it?
Oh, it revitalized mine.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. When you look back on it, what do you think of the entire experience and knowing that you're part of that?
I smile. I do. I smile inside.
Yeah.
I don't know what else you could do, really.
What a thrill. What a thrill. Well, so if people want to reach out to you and talk to you, how do they get a hold of you? Do you have a website? Do you have I know you go to the conventions.
I don't have a website. I don't know how to. I'm not techie.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't have one. I should have one.
So just look for you at the conventions then.
That. And there's some way. There are companies where you can, I think, for a fee, they'll give you an address for, I don't know what their names are or anything like that.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you'd like folks to know about Marli Renfro that we haven't touched upon? I mean, you have such an incredible story, and I so appreciate you sitting down and
I've
having this
enjoyed
conversation
it.
with me. It's been
Really,
amazing.
it's nice to just all of the events that in a person's life that circles,
Yeah. And how about for young people to be, I mean, like I said, you were pretty brave and adventurous. I mean, going out and being fearless and taking on all these different, jobs.
It was a different time.
It was, yeah.
It was a safe time.
Probably a lot different than now.
It was
then.
a respectful time.
Is
People
that
respected each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
So through all that, you found people to be pretty respectful?
Yes.
That's great. It's nice to know. I hope that can continue.
Oh, I have been in contact with Steve McQueen 3 times.
Steve McQueen.
Yes. The first time was in Chicago. I was dating his manager, Hillard Elkins.
Oh, okay.
And Steve was there for I don't know what. But anyway, he wanted to stop by and see him at his hotel. So we stopped there, and I wasn't introduced to him, but we were there and smiled at each other. And the next time, a good friend of mine, another big director, but then was filming television, Richard Donner.
Oh,
yes.
Richard Donner.
Yes, Dickie Donner.
Yeah.
That's what we knew him as, Dickie Donner.
Well, there's your third all-time great
I know.
director.
We were friends.
Wow.
Yeah, but anyway, he called me up one day, and he says, I live down in Santa Monica, 3 blocks up from the beach on Channel Road there.
Okay.
Anyway, he called me up, and he says, you doing anything? And I said, no. And he says, well, listen, I'm up in Malibu shooting some scenes here. Why don't you come up? And I, okay. So I did. I went up, and here it is, Steve McQueen.
Wow.
So I'm standing there watching, and stuff, and finally they take a break, camera set up or whatever, and Steve comes over and he says, do you ride? Oh, this is for his Western. And I said, yeah. And he said, do you want to go riding? I said, sure. So
So you had to go horseback riding with Steve
on the
McQueen.
beach in Malibu.
Wow. That must talk about a great experience.
Yeah. And then ahead, a few years, we lived up in the hills in Nichols Canyon in a cul-de-sac, and we were way, up and had this driveway that came up to another house that passed in front of ours. Anyway, I had a little Volkswagen. I had it out, and I had my bikini on, and I was washing my car. Who comes up the driveway but Steve McQueen?
Well, he had a good eye. Wow. Well, what was he like?
Very regular.
Yeah?
Yeah, really.
Well, it's amazing. The names that you've mentioned that you've interacted with over the years, from Sinatra to Milton Berle to Steve McQueen to Alfred Hitchcock. Sophie Tucker.
Sophie Tucker. She
Wow.
was a biggie there.
Yeah.
She was buxom.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, white hair.
Wow.
Oh, yes, Sophie.
Yeah.
Lily St. Cyr.
Lily St. Cyr.
She was a burlesque.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Very discreet. She never talked.
Oh, is that right?
Because she talked like this.
That's funny.
So she never gave interviews.
That's funny. But you weren't intimidated by any of these folks? You just...
No, they were people.
Yeah. Wow. Well, this has been such a pleasure, Marli. This has been amazing.
It has been. Thank you. I've enjoyed it.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all those stories, and I appreciate the time, and I guess we'll wrap it up here. I just want to thank everybody for joining us, and if you want to look for us, remember, look for I Was There with an exclamation point, and we'll put on some links if we can to Marli's contacts and your upcoming conventions. And look for Marli and go say hi and get an autograph and maybe even a shower curtain. But thank you for joining us.
And a tote bag.
And a tote bag. and a tote bag.
Yeah, those are new.
Yeah, breaking news. She's got new tote bags. So, all right. Well, thanks so much, Marli. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I really enjoyed this.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
I did too.
It was fun.
Thank you. You take care.